You could be an analyst and never take any trades if you prove yourself strong. You can literally be picked up by a real prop firm, a real brokerage firm, a large institutional firm. I've had requests from large firms that you would know very, very easily if I would coach a lot of those individuals that are already there in those positions. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Yeah. They've watched how I handle myself over the years. They see that I don't name drop. And a lot of big names are in my group. You would know them readily, but I don't name drop. There was a privacy notice. I can't tell you who's in there until they make themselves public. Once they make themselves public, they say they're an ICT charter member, then it is what it is. I usually screenshot it and capture the link of wherever they made that reference, and then if I ever talk about them, I have that to fall back on. But I have never violated anybody's privacy at all. I meant it. I wouldn't want it done to me. But you have so many opportunities once you pick this skill up. Let's say you learn how to do this really, really well. And you don't want to be a live streamer, but you're very, very consistent. You can do a signal service. That is the fastest money you have ever seen. That's immediate right now money. That is, I'm broke, I need shit to change real fast right now, and there's an opportunity for me to buy this house. I don't have the funds to meet that. Well, if you have this skill, you can open up shop in 30 days, have 6 figures falling in your hands real fast, real fucking fast. With this skill, you're not afraid to show it. When you know how to do this in your own hands, you don't need any ICT plugins. No attaboys, no here ICT's told me this, so I'm gonna feel confident. See, that's what you're gonna feel in June. You're gonna feel that void of, man, I don't feel confident. When ICT talks about it, I'm confident. It's like, oh shit, this is no brainer. If you're not in trades that are linked to that draw on liquidity, you're gonna feel like, I second guess everything. But then in the last few months, you're part of trades that you feel confident because I've come out publicly and said this is where the market's going to go. And normal instances where I haven't mentioned it in the public eye, where I think the market's going to go, you may have taken that same trade, but every fluctuation that moves against you feels like it's going to run on you, doesn't it? If you're honest right now, post to me a number 1. There's no shame in that. If you've ever felt when I didn't call the market, when I didn't call where the market's going to go, and you got in that trade, you feel every little fluctuation that's moving against you feels like it's probably going to run against me. It's going to be a losing trade, and you overanalyze every individual candlestick. But the ones I've come out publicly, and you're trading in those, you're never worrying about the little drawdowns. You're thinking, oh well, ICT called that, so now it's just going back down to that order block. That's exactly why I proved to you by being your spotter. That is what you're supposed to do. You self-talk. The only thing that's changed is because I've placed my reputation in front of everybody saying, this is what I believe the market's going to do. And if there were 2 million people following me, and I say that number because all the comments that are left predominantly are people that are not following me. So add up what's following me plus that, I got over 2 million followers. This way of teaching gives you that perspective where you have to self-reflect. You have to encourage yourself. And if you feed yourself with, man, it's going to stop me. Shit, I know it's going to stop me. I should have never moved my stop. I shouldn't have moved my stop. Shouldn't have moved my stop. This is bullshit. They're going to stop me out. And what are you doing? You're not trading your setup. You're not even following order flow anymore. You're preparing yourself for something that may not even happen, which is being stopped out, which is 180 degrees against what I teach, which is while you're in a trade, whether you're tape reading, whether you're demo trading, whether you're using it with a live trade, your task is, where are we at right now on this candlestick? And how does it relate to what has already happened? Is it still following the logic that would present the likelihood of this trade going to where you said it was going to go? If it's going down, where's the short-term low that it gets to take stops out? And then as soon as it does it quickly run away, or does it spend time below that low if you're long? That's probably more of a reason to get out of the trade or cut some of the trade off. But if it goes down below a short-term low, that doesn't mean shit, except for it's probably a time where we can add to it. By me giving you the draw in advance, I'm lending you my experience. But there's a great deal of effort that's required beyond that in your own hands. And a lot of you don't want to go through that. You're doing everything to avoid that. And there's going to be a time while you're doing it initially, you're going to feel like you're floundering. It's going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. It feels like it's not going to work in your hands until it starts. What's the separator? What's the divider there? The aspect of showing up every day and desensitizing yourself, saying, okay, yeah, I felt like that yesterday, but I don't feel it that way today. And look, it worked in my hands. And you're going to go in the next day feeling like, see, I have a good perspective. I have a good outlook on this, and then it's not going to work well in your hands again. And you're going to lean on the previous day because you journaled it. You came into the day believing that this model is going to yield itself to you. You're going to follow the rules, and it gave it to you. And then the next day you went in and tried to do it again. It didn't yield it to you. So you encourage yourself with, it worked the day before. This is the day I did something wrong. I don't know exactly what it is. I'll wait till the day closes, and I'll have the benefit of hindsight to see what it is I missed. You see how liberating that is? But some of you simply want to avoid that aspect of growth, which is required. You can't escape that. There is nobody out there that's going to help you get around that. There is no one. I promise you. I swear to God Almighty, if there was somebody that could do that, I would say gladly. This person teaches you how to get around that and circumvent that whole aspect and requirement that I tell you is there. But they beat the system. They did it better. And even if they charge a lot of money, do it. Go through that because they've done it. There's nobody that's going to ever take that away. That's experience. There's no shortcut to that. You can't buy experience. You can't borrow it and refer to it as your own. You can borrow it and be comforted by having more experience lent to you by someone that's been doing it longer than you. But even then, in the reality is you're just going along for the ride. And I don't do a lot of that stuff because I don't want you codependent. And codependency is worse than anything because when you try to do it on your own, after spending time with someone that knows how to do it really well, you're forced to look at things from a different perspective when it's no different. It's just now you don't have that assurity that you placed this affinity, this trust factor in my experience doing it. I'm more right than I'm wrong. So therefore, if I say it and I'm going to go out in public and say it, that means that you have all the reasons not to trust it anymore. Or not to not trust it, let's say it that way. Because you believe in the historical record of me calling it beforehand, it pans out. Whereas it's no different that you arriving that same outcome if you would have back tested for a couple months and then tape read it for a couple months and then demonstrated for a couple months. And that's the 6 months minimum I was talking about. If you do that, that's the work. And if you're not consistently profitable in demo, why the fuck would you go to a funded account or a real account? And some of you think that something magical is going to happen. Well, I really don't have any results to show after 2 months of demo trading. And I don't really have any back testing because I didn't want to back test. And I don't have any journal entries because I think journaling is a waste of time. So yeah, I should probably be profitable now when I start doing it with real money. I put enough time into it after all, right? And that's the dumb shit that people do. And then they'll send emails to me. Every mentorship intake, I had this. Every mentorship intake, I had this. And as soon as I said, show me your last 3 months focus in your journal, what you were looking at, because I knew they weren't going to have 3 months of journaling done in a day. And if I gave them a full day of response time, and I told them, show me what you did for 2 months in tape reading it, which markets, what was you looking at, what was your observations and annotations, and then show me what your trades were for the next 2 months of demo trading using the logic that I taught you. Not one of them that ever complained to me and said that they did the work could ever produce that. Not one motherfucker ever was able to produce that complained and said they were not learning it, and I was hiding things from them. That's the reality, folks. It's not going to fall into your lap. Just because I'm the fucking golden goose that never runs out of fucking golden eggs doesn't mean it's going to rub off on you and everything you touch, you get the Midas touch. You got to work for it. You have to get that experience on your own. But here's the wonderful thing. Once you acquire it, it might take you 7 months. It may take you a full year. There's nothing wrong with that. Because once you get to that level and you have the experience and you know exactly how you're going to react, you know what your triggers are, what makes you nervous, what scares you, but then you start seeing all these instances where, yeah, I saw that before, and I used to fear these types of moves. You ever see that in some of my students' responses when they'll come behind somebody else and say, yeah, I did this, I got scared, and I got out of the trade. He goes, yep, I used to fear that same thing, but then I had to push past that and just go a little bit further and just hold the idea and just stick to the logic and the concepts. And then I got over that same fear. I don't look at that as someone browbeating someone saying you're stupid. That's someone saying, I used to do the same thing, and here's how I overcame that. You know what that is? That's a mini little version of market wizards. How these individuals coped and how they overcome. Not the market, themselves. They overcame themselves. More needs to be said about that. That's what makes those first 2 volumes of Market Wizards so great. They're great. Everything after that, volume 3 or whatever he's done after that, it's bullshit. It's not even worth listening to or reading. But volume 1 and 2, absolutely crucial to me because it helped me understand that it isn't going to be easy. And everybody goes through these periods of adjustment, discovering what makes them tick, what's the thing that's going to make them blow it. Because we can all have the same ICT model that offers a setup every single day. But why isn't that everybody doesn't have the same results? Why is that? Because you brought something to it that day that somebody else didn't. Somebody was able to filter out all the bullshit and distractions and focus on the model. But how many days have you woke up just this past week and was mad about something somebody said about you or maybe your loved one? Or you just didn't feel like you've been recognized recently. And you start feeling that tug of war of like, do I have any worth? Or I need to prove that I deserve a better treatment from other people than I've received recently. So what do? You go into this role of a psychologist and you tell yourself, you know what you need to do? You need to go over here to this chart and pull up the euro dollar. And you need to put on a trade. And when it gets to the target, you need to go show that person that you're worth something because you can do this. And any doubt they've ever expressed to you or behind your back, you've nullified that. No, you didn't. They're going to say you got lucky on that trade. That's why you don't do shit like that. You can be out here every single day calling it perfectly, trading it, showing it's there in the same fucking account, and people are still going to face it. They're going to say that you got lucky. They're going to say that something's going on. No, it's not legit. It's not kosher. Fuck these people. They don't care about you. They're not trying to see you get better. They want to see you miserable, jumping through hoops. That's why I don't do those types of things. I know what that stuff is. But I'm the one being entertained. I'm not entertaining them. If they get entertained in the same process of me doing what I'm doing, so be it. But I'm not out here cowtailing to anybody and everybody. I'm not weak like that. And a lot of you are actually exhibiting those characteristics before you even arrive, that you're going to go and do everything everybody expects of you because you feel like you have to do it to prove it. Fuck that shit. When you wake up and your bank account has 7 digits plus in it, your income comes in whether you take a trade or not, and it pays for anything and everything that's ever going to come as an expense to you. You're going to look at social media and say, yeah, I need to prove this to them. No, you're not. You're not going to. The people that go out of their way to prove it are the people that are barely just getting by or faking it. Real money doesn't need to prove it. They don't need to prove that. Because to feel like you have to prove it means that you recently acquired it, because that's what I did when I was younger. New money, definition, perfectly. or you're faking it. And my question to you is what manner of faking is anything in last year and this year have you seen? None. You see, there's nothing faked. It's all before it happens, and then I'm trading it. So where's your excuse not to be pouring yourself into it now? As I mentioned in a post this week, I said, be honest. Now think about it. You're worried about your acceptance of me as a mentor because I did not want to win with our Robbins Cup last year because my challengers did not show up. They didn't do shit. Like I wanted to have that fucking Titan experience. Like I wanted to do it. I would have been fucking fun. It would have been fucking amazing.